Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about how to start an in-home personal training business. I started my in-home personal training business / kinesiology business in 2020 when COVID hit. I basically had the day the world shut down, I basically, had my first training session at a physiotherapy clinic in my town, but everything shut down, so all the clinics shut down too. It was a couple months go by when certain people were able to start working again, and then people who were registered were able to start working again. So me as a kinesiologist, I said, hey, if I'm going to start my business, it is now or never, so let's give it a try. So basically, what I wanted to talk about today is the pros and cons of starting your own in-home personal training business, if it's for you, if it matches your lifestyle, if it matches who you are. And I'm gonna go into, I have a whole list right here on my laptop. I have a lot of pros because I loved it. I'm currently out of it now, and then later on I will explain why I'm out of it now, or maybe I'll go into another video about that. I'll see how long this gets. And then I have some cons, but I wouldn't really call them cons. It just depends, again, who you are and what you like. I'm just gonna call these things to consider. So if you would like to listen, grab a coffee and have a seat, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Just so you have a little bit of background about me, I am a certified personal trainer, I am a registered kinesiologist in Ontario, and I am also a nutritional coach. So again, when COVID hit and all kind of registered professions can start working again, I was also I was also living at, I have a little bit of a cold, so I may sound a little nasally. I was living at home at the time, so if there's any time to start a business and kind of dive in and test out the waters, now is the time to do it. With COVID, living at home, it just seemed like it's now or never kind of thing. So starting with my pros, one of the main pros of running your own business is just that you're running your own business. So it's really cool to be able to say like, hey, I've built this thing from the ground up. I've created this business. I've gained clients. I've made a profit. So I think just that in itself is really amazing, because I think after you've done it, especially, you just see how much work and time it takes, but it can be super, what's the word, gratifying that you've done this yourself. Another thing that I find awesome about kind of having clients is being able to make your own schedule to an extent, of course. If you're in the service industry, or if you're, like a personal trainer, a lot of the times you will be working around other people's work schedule. So that may be amazing for some people, and that might just, suck for some people. So a lot of the times you will be working before they go to work or after they go to work. Again, depending on your clientele, if you have seniors, if you have people who, work from home or stay at home, you can definitely have different hours in there, like middle of the day hours. But definitely the first few clients that I received phone calls from was, can I do 6 a.m.? And then can I do 7:30 p.m.? And then as soon as you are first starting your business, you really don't want to turn down any clients, because that is profit. That's how you're going to get your name out there. That's how you're going to start to get experience. So that could be a pro for some people, and that could be a con for some people, is that you can make your own schedule. But again, it just depends on what the clients in your area or who you are targeting, what they want. Another pro is just the amazing relationships you build through being a personal trainer and running your own business. There's no one kind of there calling these people for you or like getting you clients. It's just you. So it's you and that client right from the start. And all of my clients have been so amazing. Luckily I've never had any issues, and I've created lots of like long-term relationships from this as well. Another pro would be for someone who loves kind of working by themselves and being their own boss. Obviously that comes with a lot of responsibility. I love both sides. I love seeing how it was like to be just me, myself, and I, but I also love being part of a team, again, which is why I will explain why I ended up kind of parting ways and leaving my in-home personal training business. Another pro is that you don't have a set salary. Again, this could be a pro and a con because obviously you don't have a set salary. You're going in there starting at nothing, but you can build it up to what you want to build it up to and basically how much you want to work. You can set your own rates to a certain extent. Like you don't want to be crazy low or crazy high. You want to be priced out kind of just right for what you do and, you know, your credentials. And if you want to see exactly kind of what I was charging, my fees, my cancellation policies, all of that, I will be doing a whole other video like breakdown about like specifics. Again, today is just kind of general if this suits you and if this would be right for you. So if you have built up, you know, a successful in-home personal training business and you are seeing like your set clients a day, and you get comfortable with like a schedule, then you know, you can always open up new time slots or be accepting new clients if you feel comfortable with where you're at. And if you want to add more clients obviously means more money. It just depends on how much you want to work. I also started online training and coaching within that. So that is going to be a whole other video, but that can be kind of additional money as well and not necessarily having to drive to these people's homes. So I just find that there is so much room to grow in this industry, especially kind of in the area that I am. I know a few other people in my area, you know, that I follow on Instagram that kind of do similar things to me. Like they may have their own in-home gyms or they're kind of like studio gyms. So, but actually, I don't know many people who were doing the exact same thing like in home as me, because as I left my clients, they were all asking me to, you know, refer them to somebody else. And I was like, I actually don't know anyone who does exactly what I do, and like drive to them, bring your own weights, do an hour personal training session with them. So maybe take a look in your area and see if anybody's doing that already, because if there isn't, that might mean more clients for you. Another pro of running your own personal training business is that kind of going along the lines of making your own hours, but you're not really working that 9 to 5, like the 8 hours a day or 9 hours a day or whatever. You could be working maybe like just say 4 hours a day, not including like travel time. Like just say you have 4 clients, 4 hours, and you charge $100 per session. You could be making $400 a day just by seeing those 4 clients. So it depends on, you know, if you had a full-time job before, how much you were making hourly, if you were maybe making just say like, you know, $30-$40 an hour and then working 8 hours a day versus 4 hours a day making $100 at each client. Maybe that's something to consider as well. I know that was very, very nice, is that, you know, I'm not working those full days, but at the same time, you technically are working full days because I'm up in the morning, I'm training in the evening. It is a full day. I just have like time in between that I can go to the grocery store, go tan, go hang out, go clean the house, like whatever. So there's so many pros already. I still have a lot more in mind, but I will be making multiple videos. But I just wanted to get into a few of the things to consider. One of the things to consider is the schedule. You know, like I said before, it can be a pro, but it can also be a con for some people. That maybe if your spouse or whoever is working like a 9 to 5 and then you're working before 9 and after 5, like that's something to consider, because maybe, you know, you won't be able to see them all the time. But it really depends on the day. It depends on your clients. Like I had days where I had like a 6 a.m. and then a 7:30 p.m. till 8 p.m. So I didn't kind of get home till 9. But then I had days where I kind of worked from 6 or 7 a.m. and I worked until noon, and then I was done at noon, and then I had the whole rest of the afternoon and evening off. So that basically depends on you and what you want. The thing is, at the beginning, when you start getting those first couple of clients calling you, you're so excited that somebody wants to train with you, you're basically accepting anybody at that point. And I just mean more like any time slot. It's like, oh, you want 6 a.m.? Okay, I will be there. So that means I have to wake up at 5, leave at 5:30, get there at 5:50, So at the beginning, you kind of have, because you want to start making money, and getting like your name out there, you kind of aren't, I feel like you're not going to turn down as many of the clients, even if the time slots are a little bit more difficult. To be honest, I didn't charge any. That's another thing to consider. Since we're not talking cons, we're talking about things to consider. One of the things to consider is maybe doing a different fee for before a certain time, like maybe before 9 a.m. or after 5 p.m. Maybe it's like $10 more or something. I personally didn't do that because I kind of have my set kinesiology rates all around. No matter on the time, it was just dependent on if I saw them for like 60 minutes or 45 minutes. That's the only reason I would change my fees. Another thing to consider is that it also is nice to have the middle of the day off, or maybe you have like 4-hour or 5-hour gap, but just thinking about having to kind of like, okay, get myself up again, put my workout clothes on, put my makeup on, like kind of just getting ready again for like your evening clients. It's almost like you're working 2 separate kind of like shifts in one day. So that is something to consider. Another thing to consider is maternity leave and being self-employed. And I don't know where you're watching this from. Maybe I'm in Canada, maybe you're from somewhere else. So I would just, if you're thinking about having kids in the near future, really dive into what the rules and regulations are for self-employed people. I know here in Canada or in Ontario, there is like kind of a program you can pay into for maternity leave. You have to familiarize yourself with what that actually means, and if you're paying this amount, what does it mean for when I go on maternity leave, right? So I'm going to be going on maternity leave actually in March. So let me do a separate video about that once I figure everything out, because I'm actually still in the process of, I got a new job, like a full-time job away from my personal training business, but I just basically closed up shop just recently. So I will figure out the maternity leave situation for myself. And once I figure that out, then I will let you know how it went for me. A big thing to consider is taxes and how that's going to look like when you're saving to pay your taxes. Again, in Ontario, I believe you have to start charging. Don't quote me on any of these government or tax things. This is just kind of like what I remember from everything. I believe you don't have to start charging taxes on your fees until you're making more than $30,000 a year. That could be different, but I'm not sure. Talk to your accountant. But one of the big, things that I ran into was like, okay, am I putting money away from every paycheck? Am I to pay for my taxes? How much taxes am I going to be able, or like having to pay, or what can I write off? And it's just like a whole new world that I never really fully understood. But it is really nice to have people around you who can help you figure that stuff out, whether that's a family member or an accountant or anybody that can guide you through, or you just sit down and that's just another thing that you have to teach yourself because it's your business. Another thing to consider is equipment. Are you going to your clients' homes and they're all having their equipment or an at-home gym, or are you providing equipment? So what I did is I purchased power blocks for 650 Canadian dollars. And if you don't know what a power block is, it's essentially, a set of dumbbells, and you can change each dumbbell from between 5 to 50 pounds. These power blocks also have ones that go up to 100 pounds or 25 pounds. So obviously depending on your clientele and who or how much money you want to spend on your equipment. That was my main, if nothing else, buy the power blocks unless all your clients have weights at home, because I could have done basically just with the power blocks. But as time went on, I got a few more things, like I got a stepper, I got bands, some like, those circle bands, the mini bands to go like around your knees. I got the bands that you can put in between, like attach it to your door, and you can do like rows or high rows or whatever. And then things you need, just like I got like a scale, measuring tape, skipping rope, which I actually never really use the skipping rope that much. I wouldn't necessarily buy all these things at the beginning. I totally didn't. I basically just had the power blocks and maybe a few bands, and you can basically run your whole business just like that. But I had a pretty good combination of clients who had their own in-home gym, so like a setup with dumbbells, racks, treadmill, bike, and then some of my clients had nothing. But since my business was also kinesiology focused, then a lot of my clients were kind of dealing with injuries, so we didn't need like 100 pounds. It was just kind of like even using a few pounds to kind of rehab their injury is what we needed. A couple more things just to think about is, one thing to think about is invoicing. Basically, if you're a one-man show, you're probably going to be doing the invoicing as well. I just had like a template on Word. I would adjust it, save it as a PDF, email it through my business email to my client, and that's how I sent them all their invoices. Another thing to consider is, are you going to make days, are you going to make days that your client has to pay you? Kind of like if you see them 3 times a week, they need to pay you maybe like every Friday, or once a month or twice a month. Like, are you going to set that up? Because these are some things that I did not consider at the very beginning. So I just kind of sent out my invoice, and then whenever they paid me, they paid me. So if you like having that set, I get paid on this and this day of the month type of thing that you get from a 9 to 5, you don't really get that in this business unless you are very clear with your clients at the very beginning, or like if you really even care about it, because I did not care. I was like, I'm just going to send my invoice, and whenever they pay, they pay. That's just something to consider. And then also another thing to consider is, which basically goes in how often they're going to pay you, because some invoices I sent every 10. And I did not like this sounds weird, but I didn't really like receiving the money before. I liked receiving the money once I completed the 10 sessions, right? Because then you get paid, and then it's like, okay, I'm working now these 10 sessions to get this chunk of money, rather than getting the chunk of money, spending it, and then like working those 10 sessions. And obviously you got paid, but it's just a different feeling, and it depends again on what you and your client discuss and what you guys want. Another thing to consider is insurance. Working as a in-home or registered kinesiologist, I have to have insurance. So it was basically, it would ask you if you're working like under somebody or in a clinic or something, or like on your own, and like what that covers. So basically every year I would renew my insurance. I would renew my, my college fees and my membership. Also, I know you have to like renew your personal training. Sometimes you have to do courses in order to renew the personal training certificate. If you need to renew your kinesiology membership or college dues, try to maybe start saving that throughout the year, and not just like, boom, December 31st or whatever it is, you have to pay like all these fees. Learn from my mistakes. And one of the big things to consider when planning your business, I would honestly, if you're really considering this, I would sit down with like a piece of paper, a pen, and kind of just draw or write out your dream business and, kind of like all these points that I just said and how you would like to run it as a business owner. One of the things that I didn't really consider at the beginning, I should have watched a video like this, is talking about a cancellation policy with your clients. And you got to think about what this cancellation policy means to you. Because think about it this way. They cancel on you maybe like that morning and you have a session with them at like 3 p.m. or 4 p.m., whatever. You have a session with them, they cancel that morning. So it is not 24 hours, but you've never really set a 24-hour like rule. You can't randomly just now say, oh, sorry, I'm going to have to charge you for the session because it's less than 24 hours, but you've never even had this conversation. So maybe based on what you want to do and what you want to do with the cancellation policy, make sure you kind of write up a cancellation policy, maybe even look up online, and then get them to sign it when you are, when you're going to train people. You also have to sign like a physical activity readiness questionnaire. Maybe you do the cancellation policy along with that. There's many different options you can do. You can basically, it's 24 hours. Some people say, I need to charge you full because I didn't have the 24-hour notice. Or some people do, I charge you like a percentage or maybe like $20, $10 if you cancel. I don't know. I myself did not have a cancellation policy really because I built such great relationships with my clients, and I think that's ultimately what you want. It is very difficult to be like, oh, your kid is sick, or oh, you're sick, or oh, something came up, or you have to go somewhere. Like, and all your clients will do it, and you'll have multiple cancellations even like throughout a week. It's very hard to look at these people who you've built such great relationships with and be like, oh, I'm going to charge you full. And then also, what happens when tomorrow morning I wake up and I'm sick and I have to cancel? Do I refund you back that money? Do I pay you that money? What is my penalty kind of for being sick? So at the end of the day, I really just did it on a case-by-case situation. And a lot of the times, all the time, most of the times, they are very good at, I missed today, but all my clients always wanted to make up their sessions and they wanted to get those like 2 sessions a week or their 3 sessions a week or whatever they wanted to do. They didn't really want to lose those. So they're like, can you fit another session in on Friday, or can we do a weekend? Oh, that is another thing to consider. Are you going to be working weekends? So I guess we are just steering away from the cancellation policy right now and going to weekends. So just determine what you would like to do for a cancellation policy. Probably on like all of these points, I would love to make a in-depth video about all of them. So let me know if you want that. But yeah, are you going to be working weekends? And if so, are you working all day on the weekends? Are you working one day? Are you just working one morning? What are you doing? Because a lot of the times, again, you are working kind of like around their work schedule, so they are free on the weekends. I was very lucky in the sense of most of my clients, maybe I wouldn't say lucky, but I tried to fit them in on like their work days. It's like K in the morning or in the evening. So then at least you still have Saturday, Sunday off and you just like, grind throughout the week. I feel like I could talk for hours and hours about all of this. If you are considering doing this as your business, I would love to chat with you if you need some guidance or if you need some help. You can comment down below and ask, your questions. If you have questions and I think I can make a video about it, I would love to make more videos. Moving forward, I want to make videos for you guys about pricing and how I kind of set my prices, or when is a good time to change your prices or increase your prices. Advertising for your business and how I got my name out there and what things worked and what things didn't work and did I pay for my advertising. So that whole thing needs its own video because I did so many things to advertise, and I did end up building a pretty stable long-term business. I also would love to make a video about everything that I would have done different. I think even in just this video, you can kind of pick up on some of the things that, I wasn't even sure about at the beginning, or I wish I spent more time learning about, but I don't think you can ever be fully prepared going into something like this. You just kind of have to, there was like a quote, isn't it? Like you have to be like 80% or 70% like ready, and then like basically you learn the rest along the way. At the end of the day, this was such a wonderful business for me. I learned so much. I met so many people. I learned so much about myself. You grow so much within those. I did it, I guess, from 2020 to this year, so the end of 2023. So it's been an amazing few years doing this. I honestly would continue doing this if it wasn't for one amazing opportunity that I always had in the back of my head. And I was like, oh my gosh, if this opportunity came up for me, I would totally, close shop on my own business and do this thing. And I actually did get offered a job here. So I would love to make a video about that actually as well. Or should I add it now? I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a bonus, and I'll probably dive deeper in next video. But the job that I always said I would kind of leave my personal training business for was this job. I'm not going to go into details about how it came up or what happened and all of that right now, but basically the opportunity of working at a private prep school in my area came up. So there is, kids which are in high school and junior school, and they are in prep school, so they're preparing to go on into hopefully somewhere like within hockey, lacrosse, golf. So we are doing the strength and conditioning with them, and it is like, you're 8 to 4, and I love all the people there. I love the hours. I love the pay. Like everything just ended up being so good there. And I was like, yeah, if that opportunity ever comes up to me, I would definitely take this opportunity because I think it just would fit me and my life currently so well. And it came up and I accepted. So that is why we are closing up shop again on my in-home personal training and kinesiology business. But just because I closed up shop doesn't mean you have to. And hopefully I can help you in this new venture if you feel like it's for you. So again, if you would like to reach out, please comment down below. Please comment all and any of your questions. I would love to keep talking about this because I could just talk all day, but I feel like this video is getting a little bit long. So I will see you in the next video once I dive into more details. So all the best in your business, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.